All right, our second example reads, in art class, we talked about how Jackson Pollock created his paintings. So before I go into diagramming this, I want to make sure I know exactly where this noun clause is going to try to sit. So I see that here's this preposition about, but he doesn't have a noun. And I know that this thing here is a big old noun clause. He has both a subject and a verb. Jackson Pollock created. Starts off with the interrogative rather of the word how. So this whole thing's a noun. Well, a preposition is looking for its object, so this must be a giant prep phrase. So think about the sentence is basically saying we talked about this. So as I build this one, I'm going to build this one with some space below because I'm anticipating that I'm going to need some space below for this prep phrase. So here's my subject, we talked. We talked where? In class. It's art class. And we talked, and here's a prep phrase. What'd you talk about? We talked about. Well, you didn't talk about cheese. You didn't talk about politics. You didn't talk about the weather. You talked about this whole thing. So if I had cheese or politics or weather, I just put that little noun here and call it a prep phrase. But now I'm going to try to put this entire noun clause as the object preposition. So that means I've got to put it up on a tree. So here's my tree. I'm going to do a little stubby tree. You certainly can do a tall tree. It doesn't matter to me. You know what? I'm going to get crazy. I'm going to do a tall tree. And when I get up here, I know it's a clause, so I'm going to make it look like a clause. I'm going to start off with my verb, which is created. I'm going to go backwards, pick up my subject, which is Jackson Pollock. Call him JP. And then I can continue on with my other parts, which is paintings. So it's paintings, it's his paintings. So I'm going to get those. Here's paintings. It's his paintings. And lastly, I have the word how. So I know the word how has to fit somewhere into this diagram because it starts this nominal clause. So think about it logically. My list above tells me the word how is an adverb, and that makes a lot of sense because how is an adverbial question. It's one of our 5 adverb questions if you go back to your notes in Unit 1. So I'm like, okay, it must connect back to the verb because it's an adverb. So therefore, I'm going to put a little line underneath created and then add in this word how. Once again, the interrogatives have to fit somewhere into the diagram, except for if and whether or not. Let's take a look at the other example. This one says, I wondered what my friends had planned for my birthday party. All right, so I can see this is once again a noun or a nominal clause, has a subject and a verb. My friends had planned, starts off with the interrogative what. And so think about it logically, your main sentence is sitting out here. I, action verb, wondered, and now I'm looking naturally for a big old direct object. So this whole thing is going to sit up on a tree because that's my direct object. So when I build this one, I'm going to build it low to the ground because I'm going to need some space above. All right, so my verb is wondered. Going backwards, my subject is I. My direct object is a straight line, and my tree, because I'm wondering what. And here it is. All right, so start off with my verb, which is had planned, is my whole verb. Had planned. In front of that's my subject, friends. Go ahead and add in some extra words, my friends. And then my friends had planned, a little prep phrase, had planned for party. It's going to be my party and birthday party. So add those words in. So they planned it for party. It's really a bad writing, isn't it? What is that all about? Let's try this again. Party. And then it is my party. It's birthday party. And now I'm left with the word what. So the what, if you go back to your list at the very top of this page, is we made a note that the word what is a noun. It makes sense because nouns naturally answer questions of what. So therefore the word what has to fit on this diagram somehow as a noun. Well, think about where we're going to put it. I know the word what is sitting in front of my friends, but it would make no sense at all to put the word what in front of the subject. I already have a subject, and I've never put another noun in front of a subject. Well, figure out where it's going to go. I already have a subject, and there's only 6 places a noun can be. I don't have like a preposition that's looking for a noun, so it's not the object preposition. What I do is I have an action verb, and maybe I'm looking for a direct object. Direct objects, if you think about your notes on direct objects, they answer questions of what and whom. Wow, that makes sense. Why wouldn't I say my friends had planned what for my birthday party? So it makes perfect sense for the word what to sit right over here. That's going to help us as we get into who versus whom eventually, of why the word who is in certain places and why the word whom is in certain places on our diagram. Another reason why diagrams sometimes help us visually understand how to actually write correctly. It's perfect. I love this. So I like this example because I get to use the word what. All right. So now we have some basis for it. What I want to do is I want to take a look at the punctuation rules of the nominal clause. And then I want to take a look at just to be practicing how to find them before we actually get back into practicing diagramming.